Welcome back. Uh, at the end of the epistle that Matthew wrote in the Bible, he really gave a command. Matthew 28 at the end of that, and he said to go and make disciples and teach others. And a lot of times that's not really uh, doable, if you will, by everyone. And so one way that we participate in that is to, along with our local church, we partner with Samaritan's Purse and their Operation Christmas Child program. And so what that means is that we pack a shoebox that usually around Thanksgiving, Christmas time is when the packing happens, when people are in the mood for giving. But the delivery doesn't necessarily happen during that time. A lot of times that happens in the middle of the summer because the boxes have to get to those places. And so in doing that, we know that these boxes are prayed over and that the gospel is presented to the child when the child receives the box. And so we've done this for many years. We had have two daughters, and while our daughters grew up, they also packed boxes. We always do boxes for little girls because we have little girls, and so this year we're doing 4 boxes, and so we know that these boxes are going to reach the person who God has designated for the box, and we're going to go through a little bit of what we put in the box and how we do that.
Okay, so I like to start with some of my flat items. I've got a little few pages of stickers, maybe what we call fun items. I've got a little journal that they can write in. I've also included some fabric. Found when we were in Guatemala that was something that they really enjoyed receiving because they make their own clothes a lot of times, and so I thought that would be something they could use for a sewing project where I don't have it yet, but I'm going to get a little sewing kit and include in the boxes, and that'll also include scissors.
We also include writing utensils. I was deployed to Afghanistan for a number of years, and in meeting the children over there, a lot of times those children could not attend school unless they brought a writing utensil with them. And so as we were out moving about with the children, in our Army uniform, we would have slots for pens on our sleeves. The children would come and actually, before they asked for candy or something like that, they would really want to have that ink pen or pencil so that they could take it to school. So pens and writing utensils are a really good thing to put in the box.
So I actually am going to put those between the shoes. You'll notice that we also have a hair bow that we have our pencils and pens secured with a little hair tie. We are doing the shoes that grow. Um, they will grow to up to 3 different sizes, and they've also included a picture to show how the shoe will adjust and grow with their feet. So I'm going to tape this to the top of the box. Um, but in the shoes, I'm going to take and we're going to include socks. I'm just going to stuff those up in top of the shoe, and these are like um, they're one of the things they always say to pack some personal care items, and so these would be considered their personal care items. I've got 3 pair of little socks that they can take. They also recommend. We've heard people talk about in the areas it gets cold at night, whether they're in the desert or up in the mountains. And so I've included a pair of gloves as well. And I'm going to also stuff that into the shoe. And we have um, hairbrush, emery board, because these are for girls 10 to 14 that we're packing the boxes for, a toothbrush, and a washcloth.
But you can't put toothpaste or any of those type items in there, because the boxes will be stored in probably shipping containers and those kind of things out in the weather, and toothpaste doesn't do real well in that environment. So they recommend not packing toothpaste. Another thing you can do, we always, you saw some pencils in there. We always include a pencil sharpener so they can sharpen the pencils. But another thing to do, a lot of times you might purchase these items and they'll come in packaging, and the packaging really just takes up space that could be provided to add more items to your box. And so, like for this pencil sharpener, I'm going to take it out of its packaging, and so that way it's not much, but it's a little bit that might help us get another emery board or a jump rope or another piece of cloth in there that we can send to the children.
The last thing we're also going to include a jump rope. That's one of our fun items that we're including. I'll take that paper off and just kind of, if you will, just kind of get that. It needs to go in the end of the box there. And then the last thing, I have gotten some reusable sanitary pads because, again, our box is for girls 10 to 14. And so we're going to put those in there and then there's a small pouch that also came with that when I ordered it. And so we will just put those in there and put them at the end of the box. We are going to include a picture, and I've written a little note. And again, we will tape that to the top of the box. I just wanted to read off the list of things that you should include, think about including, and then what you should not include. A wow item, something that really catches their attention, which is the shoes for our boxes that we're sending. And then you could do a soccer ball, a doll, stuffed animal, anything like that, depending on the age that you're doing. Toys, jump ropes, yo-yos, musical instruments, personal care items, toothbrushes, washcloths, hairbrushes, combs. Those are things that could be used. The school supplies, accessories like socks, sunglasses, jewelry, watches. And the things not to include are candy, toothpaste, gum, used or damaged items, scary or war-related items, seeds, food, liquids or lotions, medications or vitamins, breakable items, or glass containers, aerosol cans. And so those are the things not to include. These will we will take these to church, and then they'll take them to a drop-off location, and then they will travel to a packaging center where they prepare in terms of get the boxes ready to travel. And I got to go there one year, and they actually go through the boxes and make sure everything is okay. So if there's something you're not sure about, or you're worried that you're not packing the right things, know that somebody else is also going to look at these boxes. But we had a lady come and talk to us about the shoe boxes in October, and she talks about how God has a plan for the box, and when they would hand out those boxes, it was like God was telling them who to hand the box to. And so they just felt through God's Spirit that they knew who to hand that box to, and it was always a blessing for the child to open the box and receive something that they really needed, or they really, it was special to them. So thanks for listening.
So this is just one way that you too can participate in God's mission to reach all people. It doesn't take a lot. Just pack a box, and Samaritan's Purse will take care of getting it to the needy child. Reaching out to all the folks of the world. That's what works for me, mostly.